What's up guys, welcome back to InvestingPH. Okay, November is done, we're almost at the end of the year. And of course, the market is still stuck in the 5,800 to 6,100 range. Nothing new, the index has been lagging for years now, which is honestly why I never invest in a PSCI fund. But anyway, in this portfolio update, I'll talk about the usual, my portfolio's performance for November, the stocks I bought, and why I decided to add a new stock to the portfolio, my reasoning behind it, and all that. Plus, I want to talk about the newly launched PERA of DRAGONFI and how I plan to invest in it. I won't be diving super deep into it, I'll just show the basics, how the platform looks, how to fund it, my investing strategy, and the things I currently understand about it. I'm still learning the system myself, so I don't want to pretend to be an expert. This isn't a deep dive video on PERA, just to be clear. So for the early DRAGONFI PERA investors, once again, I'll be your investing buddy. In my monthly updates, I'll also show a preview of my PERA portfolio and the stocks I buy there, because it's now part of my investing journey, and honestly, I think this is the best way to show how PERA works. You'll see my month-to-month journey from the very beginning, unlike my main portfolio, where I only started making YouTube videos when it was already around 700,000. This one starts from zero, but before all of that, let's look at how my main portfolio performed. At the end of November, my portfolio value is 4.43 million from my invested capital of 3.28 million. That gives me a 34.77% return or a total gain of 1.1 million. My annualized or compounded return is 9.7%. I earned 12,997 pesos in dividends for November, bringing my latest 12-month dividends to 232,000 or around 19,346 pesos per month. That puts my total dividends received at 648,265 pesos. Though honestly, I don't think I'll hit the 20k per month milestone this year. My estimate places it around 19,500 pesos. Still not bad. That's more than a 4,000 peso monthly growth compared to last year. And this is what really inspires me to continue. I'm seeing the growth of my passive income right in front of me. If I just keep up the pace, next year I should be around 23,000 to 24,000 a month. So what stocks did I buy last month? My main buy was MBT or Metrobank. I've been consistently adding to MBT even though my initial buys were already at a very cheap price. My average share price is 55 pesos. Why? Simple. I believe in the company. It's strong, earnings are growing, dividends are growing, and at the current price, it still gives me more than a 7.5% dividend yield. That's a win-win for me. Now for the new stock I added, RFM. Quick background of the company. Their brands include Selecta, Royal, Fiesta, Sunkist, White King. These are products almost every Filipino uses. Even I always buy their Selecta Farm Fresh Milk because it's cheap, it's good, and it always comes in that 2-piece bundle. Fiesta Pasta, I use that too. And of course, Selecta Ice Cream. So I have a direct experience with the products, and they're basically everyday staples. Financial-wise, revenue has been consistently growing year after year. Earnings dipped a bit in 2022, but recovered well. The long-term earnings trajectory has been steadily rising for the past 10 years. And here's one of the best parts. Their debt is extremely well managed. Their debt-to-equity ratio is only 6.5%, meaning they're almost operating at debt-free levels. That's how solid their financials are. Yes, growth in equity and earnings is in the single digits, sure, but the consistency over the past decade stands out, especially considering how low their debt is. For dividends, RFM's yield is 9.7% as of current price, and they pay quarterly, like a REIT. Some people might see the 74% payout ratio as a red flag. For most of my stocks, REITs aside, I usually prefer something below 60%, but for RFM, even though it's above 60%, it's still reasonable. Their products are staples, their earnings and equity are stable, and they are operating with almost no debt. So a 74% payout ratio makes sense for a company like this. Now on to valuation. Instead of using my usual valuation method, which I've explained in this video right here, I valued RFM using the dividend discount model. I analyze it as a pure dividend stock. I'm not aiming for massive capital growth here. This is purely a dividend play. My buy price for RFM is 5.84 pesos, and that already includes a 30% margin of safety. At that price, the minimum dividend yield I'd be getting is 7.62%. So again, this position is purely for dividends. And starting now, my goal is to maximize my investments in stocks like these, stocks with 6% plus dividend yields. which brings me to my PERA portfolio, or the personal equity and retirement account. So to start off, I'm going full dividend strategy for this portfolio. For now, I'm only putting stocks here that gives at least a 6% dividend yield. Sadly, RFM isn't included in the PERA accredited stocks. I've already bought 2 stocks, MBT and MREIT, with MBT being the main bulk. Both give me more than 7% yield. And as you know, all dividend taxes are exempted inside a PERA account. In my main portfolio, I get taxed 10% on dividends. Here, 0. And there's also no capital gains tax. But since I barely sell anything, my main focus is still dividend compounding. Now let me show you how I fund my PERA account. Technically, you can still use bills and payments, which is what I use for my main portfolio. But for PERA, I actually just transfer money directly from my main portfolio to my PERA account. It's super easy. Takes about 30 seconds, and the money appears instantly in my PERA account. So far, I've deposited a total of 10,600 pesos. The limit per year is 200,000 pesos, and I was also chosen as a winner for the 5K raffle. Yes, I know, I'm in the signature portfolio of DRAGONFI, but I promise this wasn't given to me. I was genuinely one of the raffle winners, which is surprising on my part as I'm very unlucky with these raffles. Anyway, so that puts my total invested money at 15,600 pesos. Right now, my portfolio is in the red, but that's totally normal, especially in the first few months and years. Now, my plan is to invest around 2,000 to 3,000 pesos per month into my PERA portfolio, and I promise to stay transparent with this whole journey. I'm still studying more of the advantages and disadvantages of PERA, so sorry if this is just a quick overview, but honestly, this is already a good starting point for people who don't know anything about this, because you're seeing it live. It works almost exactly like my main portfolio. The only difference is you can only invest in PERA certified stocks and funds. And of course, the signature portfolio feature is also there. You can copy my portfolio and other portfolios as well. It's the same concept as my main portfolio, just limited to PERA certified stocks. I think I'll be tweaking some of my holdings here too, since I'm leaning toward high-yield dividend stocks. I'm really happy with how DRAGONFI integrated PERA into their platform. It's so easy to use, literally just like my main portfolio. You can easily buy and sell stocks and funds through the app. If you didn't know, PERA has actually been around for a long time. But before this, it was honestly a pain to invest in. Even I didn't bother researching it because the old process was so outdated. There was no platform that made it this easy. Now it's finally a breeze to buy and sell PERA stocks and funds. So for those of you in your 20s who are just starting your investing journey, honestly, you're lucky. You can now invest in a retirement account easily and early. It's about time the Philippines step up PERA. If you look at the US, in 2024, around 44% of households have a retirement account like PERA. Their version is the IRA and Roth IRA. If you've watched American finance YouTubers, you always hear them say, maximize your Roth IRA. This is exactly what PERA is for us. It just wasn't popular before because no brokerage integrated it properly. Even though PERA has existed publicly since 2016, it was basically impossible to use. It was like it didn't exist. Now DRAGONFI is the first to digitize PERA this well, making it easy to invest in different stocks and funds. Of course, there are fees involved, around 0.4 to 0.6%. I'm still clarifying why there's a range and who gets which rate, and I'll update you guys in my next videos. But here's a key point. Those fees are clearly offset in the long run by the tax-free dividends and tax-free capital gains. Still, I'll stand by this. You should always pay attention to fees and adjust your strategy to maximize PERA's benefits. That's exactly why I'm using a pure dividend strategy here. The higher the dividend yield, the more you take advantage of the free 10% dividend tax, and the more these benefits offset the admin fee. I actually think there's a yield threshold where the tax benefits outpace the fees by a wide margin, especially if you add the tax-free capital gains. That alone already makes PERA a big winner, and we're only talking about the tax-free dividends and capital gains here. We haven't even touched the 5% tax credit you get. For example, if you contribute 60,000 pesos a year to PERA, you get a 5% tax credit, which is 3,000 pesos. You can deduct that from your annual taxes. As a dentist, I can easily deduct that amount in my yearly filing, and that saved money can go straight back into my PERA account. Just to give you a clearer picture, if you have 1 million pesos in PERA, even with the highest fee of 0.6%, that's 6,000 pesos a year. But if you earn 6% dividend yield, which is 60,000, the tax savings alone equal that as 10% of 60k is 6,000. But wait, plus capital gains tax savings, plus the 5% tax credit, Combined, these easily offset the fees, especially in the early years when your fees are tiny relative to your contributions. The tax credit alone already gives you a strong head start. By the way, DRAGONFI can give you the tax credit certificate at the end of the year. Use that along when filing your taxes. I'm not sure yet how the deduction works if you're an employee, since I don't have personal experience with that. But take all this with a grain of salt. I may be wrong here, because I'm still learning too. This is simply how I understand PERA as of now. I promise I'll make a deeper dive in the future. I'll show charts, projections, and compare PERA versus a normal account. We'll also talk about the best strategy to maximize everything. And this is just my speculation, okay? Once PERA gets widely adopted, fees will naturally go down over time. That's what happened in the US. As more people invested, index fund fees dropped significantly. Meanwhile, here in the Philippines, our fund fees are still 10x higher because only a small portion of the population invests. Companies need to charge higher fees to cover operational costs. So for me, PERA could actually be the gateway that gets more Filipinos into the stock market, and that can create a ripple effect, eventually lowering fees across the board. But again, I'll definitely research more on the pros and cons of PERA. This is just an early preview. Please take it with a grain of salt. More details will come in future videos. For now, my strategy is simple. Invest in strong high-yield stocks, maximize the tax credits, reinvest everything, stay consistent, that's it. I hope you picked up something valuable from this video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button before you go. And if you want to sign up for DRAGONFI, do use my link below and both of us can get up to 1,500 depending on your initial funding. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.